For a Christmassy take on a classic cocktail, you need to try out my Christmas New York Sour. Let me show you how to make it. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt, I'm the Whiskey Nerd, and like I said, today I'm making a Christmas cocktail. I'm making a Christmas whiskey sour, and I got the idea for this recipe because, well, it's Christmas. My favorite cocktail is a whiskey sour, and I thought, what better idea than to put those two things together? Because for me, the whiskey sour is a great little cocktail. It's simple enough that it shouldn't be possible for a bartender to get it wrong, but it's still a bit flexible. It's still a bit like open to interpretation, so you can play around with it. Like, you can make a New York sour, you can make different kind of whiskeys, you could use different kind of floats, you could use different bitters or sugar syrups, so you can play around with the cocktail because it's quite versatile. The basic structure of a whiskey sour is 2 parts whiskey, 1 part citrus, in this case lemon juice, and 1 part sugar syrup. And if you want to add a frothy head, you can use like an egg white like I've got here, or you can use, if you're a vegan, you could use something like aquafaba or those kind of like vegan alternatives to get that frothy head. And because it's Christmas, I don't think there's any point in me talking about a cocktail anymore. I think it's time I make it. So we're gonna get our shaker tin and we're gonna pop a nice rock of ice into there before we measure out our ingredients. We're gonna start off with our egg white. I've just pre-separated out an egg white here. So I'm gonna pour that into there just like that. And then we're gonna go in with our whiskey. This here is the 2 Stacks Blenders Cut, kind of their complex blend whiskey. For me, it's a very nice little whiskey. I won't go into the details of it, but it's got some grain whiskey, some malt whiskey, some peated whiskey, and some pot still whiskey. So it's got a bit of spice, a bit of smoke, and a lot of sweetness. So it works really well in cocktails, and it comes in at 43% alcohol by volume. It's got a bit of weight, got a bit of presence, and it won't get overpowered by the cocktail. We're going to go in with 50 ml of our 2 Stacks whiskey, just into there like that. And then we're going to go in with our citrus and our sugar. Because it's a 2-1-1, we're going to go in with 25 ml of our freshly squeezed lemon juice, just like that, plain and simple, into there. And then we're going to go in with, again, 25 ml of our plain simple sugar syrup. This is just a simple sugar syrup, 1-to-1, 1 part sugar, 1 part water. Boil it up, mix it up, and you get a very nice, simple sugar syrup. I'm gonna pop the top on my shaker tin, bang it down, and shake it away for about 30 seconds to get it nice and mixed and nice and cold. Okay, I think that is nicely chilled now. So I'm gonna pop the top off my cocktail shaker and get ready to strain it out into a nice coupe glass. I'm gonna pop the strainer up top, catch that nice big rock of ice, and pour it away, plain and simple, just like that. Oh yes. And now while we wait for this to settle, if you're new here, scroll down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. I put out whiskey reviews every Wednesday, and I put out cocktail recipes featuring whiskey every Friday. And while you're down there, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know what kind of cocktails you'd like to see me make in the new year, because I do love experimenting with classics like this kind of Christmas New York sour, but I also like making other new inventive ones that people might have come up with themselves. So if you have your own recipe, let me know down below. And since I did say this was a Christmas New York sour, some of you might have realized it's not actually a Christmassy cocktail yet. It's actually just a basic kind of classic whiskey sour, and there's no bitters or no other ingredients in it. Well, that's because I got this right here. This here is mulled wine, or if you're in Europe, you might call it glühwein, which is essentially red wine with a bit of sugar and with some spices, with some cinnamon, some cloves, some nutmeg, some lemon peel, some lime peel. And what you do is you kind of boil it up, you stir it up, you mix it up, you get it nice and hot, and on a cold day, you can drink it, and it's very, very tasty. It's very, very enjoyable on a really cold day to have this, because it's got a little bit of alcohol in it, and when you heat it up and you bring it up to temperature, you lose a little bit more alcohol. But it's not about getting the booze, it's about getting the flavor, the warmth, and a really, really tasty little drink. And that's why I didn't go in with any bitters, because I'm gonna be going in with a little float of this. So it's gonna be like a New York sour, because this is nicely settled now. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of a float of my mulled wine up the top here to get like a New York sour, but with mulled wine instead of that classic red wine. So how I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna get my bar spoon just up like this, and I'm gonna pour it over. Kind of gentle, but not really worrying too much. I'm gonna go just like that. You're gonna get this, it's not gonna be the neatest thing in the world, but you're gonna get a nice kind of float over the top, just like that. Mulled wine, for me, that is really like the taste of Christmas. You get this nice little bit of wine, but you also get a nice hit of the spice, hit of the sweetness, and just very, very tasty. But this right here is how I make a very nice Christmas whiskey sour. And now let's just go in and have a taste of this cocktail. Very, very nice. I think it's got a really nice distinctive character, so I'm not gonna go in with a garnish, just gonna enjoy it plain and simple as it is. Cheers. Oh yes. See, that's really nice. Why I didn't want to use bitter. So normally for whiskey sour, I'll use a bit of Angostura, a bit of orange bitters, things like that. But when you do that, you get the bitters into the foam, and because of that, there would be other flavors. So when you bring it up to taste it, you'd get a little bit of the Angostura or the orange or whatever bitters you've used. You get a little bit of that flavor. But here, I'm just getting that plain whiskey sour. I'm getting the bit of sugar, the bit of lemon, and that nice hit of the whiskey coming through. And yeah, there's a little bit of wine. You can see there's a little bit of a wine spill up top, but really it's all there. So when you drink it, you get the cocktail flows through the mulled wine, and you get the whiskey sour mixed with the mulled wine. And for me, it's just really tasty. It's got all like the spices and the sweetness that you expect from a mulled wine, but also the same spices and sweetness you expect from a whiskey sour. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. So I'm definitely going to keep on enjoying this. Wish you some happy holidays, Merry Christmas if you celebrate it. I'm going to keep on enjoying this. I'm going to see you next time. Sláinte.